Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning.
Now, let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, NEITI, 619.7 million barrels of crude oil valued at 16.25 trillion naira lost to theft, sabotage in 12 years. Calls for special panel on Glencore scandal indicting Nigerian officials. Yes, the sad news about how we run our oil business and our commonwealth. NEITI, the Nigerian Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, released a report yesterday, and this report covering between 2009 when NEITI started keeping records of this, and 2020 Nigeria has lost this amount of crude oil with a value of 16.25 trillion naira through theft and sabotage, according to the report. Imagine what this amount of money could have done for the country. But it's not enough for us to bemoan this disaster. Our persons being brought to book. The recent initiative to curb oil theft, the arrest made. Who are the persons behind this? A report some days ago said if those behind this oil theft are named, Nigerians will be shocked to their bone marrows. We want to know those who are behind this. And until that is done, well, it's like we're not serious about curbing oil theft, because somehow all those who collude before long will find a way around this, unless persons are arrested, tried, and shamed before one and all. Now, the Guardian newspaper, 80 billion USSD debts weaken digital channels as new Naira notes arrive. Visit your bank today for redesign notes. CBN urges Nigerians. FASWA, Nigerians should join global trend. Pay attention to real challenges. Let e-payment evolve naturally, says Yusuf. APO to engage CBN on negative impacts of policy on agents. That's the Association of POS Operators. Low smartphone penetration may hinder service. Christ urges revocation of draconian policy. Yes, of course, one of the issues that may also bedevil this quest to spread e-payment is the unresolved issue of unstructured supplementary service data between the banks and the telecoms company. There's been a lot of back and forth on this, and who is owing what, and the telcos threatening to cut off banks who use these services. We hope this will be resolved so that the ordinary Nigerians don't suffer in the face of the dispute between banks and these telcos. Now, the Punch newspaper, banks reconfigure ATMs, new Naira enter circulation today. Bank officials complain of small allocations from CBN. Emefiele to appear before reps over withdrawal limits. Yes, Rufai, you explained what this limits and the implication if you go above the limit. Not that you cannot go above the limit. Now, the Nation newspaper, Huge crowd received Tinubu in Mina. Yes, hiccups in PVC distribution. Prospective voters, besiege centers, we are addressing challenges. And if we look at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, worrisome development, you will see. Thousands of northerners selling their PVCs for about 2,000 naira. That's Northern Elders Forum making this allegation. Real reasons politicians are buying PVCs. Party leaders speak. If persons are selling their cards, of course, politicians have weaponized poverty. So 2,000 naira is a big deal for the poor. But the politicians who initiate this buying are the ones who should be apprehended and brought to book. It's not enough, again, to just make these allegations. The law enforcement agencies should swing into action and apprehend those behind the buying of voters' card. The Vanguard newspaper, Buhari, I have done my best. Afeni, Fere, or Haneze, others differ. Buhari has done well. APC campaign, his best, not good enough. SDP, ADC, you failed. Nigerians worse off in 7.5 years. Middle Belt Forum tells Buhari, president's best is abysmal failure. Pandef is unfortunate. This is Buhari's best for Nigerians. Or Haneze is an honest admission of failure. Afenifere, Buhari's best has left Nigeria worse than he met it. Labour Party. Well, I think this speaks for itself. The president saying he has done his best, but is his best good enough? That's the question Nigerians will be answering along the way. Are they better off now than in 2015 when President Muhammadu Buhari took over with the change mantra, the economy, security, and of course anti-corruption? On all fronts, the jury is out, but the president is insisting, I have done my best. Now the foreign newspapers quickly, the Guardian newspaper, the Guardian of London, scathing report condemns police for victim blaming in rape cases. While the Daily Telegraph, damage of nurses strike will get worse. Longer workers affecting end-of-life care, and likely in January, hospital chiefs are warning. Yes, the nurses will be stepping out today of the hospitals. And of course, the crisis in the NHS will be very visible and painful. Now, the Wall Street Journal, repayment of pandemic loans ill-timed for many businesses. Yes, many small businesses that receive federal pandemic loans are now seeing the bills come due, and they are saying the timing is wrong. Yes, the disaster loan helps small businesses to survive and avoid layoff, but the payment is due. And it is coming at a time these businesses are seeing steeper decline in business than during the pandemic. What an irony. And they're saying this is wrong timing. Ruben Rufai and Ayo.
Okay, first let me start with the story about the Northern Elders Forum, saying that people are collecting PVCs from people. They tell them they would use it for poverty alleviation and return the cards later, and then they don't return them. Yes, you are right. Those politicians who are involved in that scam, they need to be identified and they need to be sanctioned, because vote buying or voter suppression, which is the issue in this particular case, they collect your vote, your PVC, and they make it impossible for you to be able to vote. I agree with you, they should be identified and sanctioned under the law. But even more importantly is that these politicians who go to collect PVCs and hold them, they are doing so because of the ignorance of the people. Many of these poor people, they don't know better, any better. So it's important that the innocent political parties, if there are any, and the INEC Department of Voter Education will still need to do a lot more in terms of voter education, and perhaps groups like the Northern Elders Forum in the northern part of the country, because the point being made by Dr. Akim Baba Ahmed, is that, look, you know, whereas in other parts of the country, people have been encouraged to vote, not enough is being done in parts of the north to ensure that people are not manipulated. And then, of course, the other point to be made has to do with the fact that you can't use another person's PVC, which is what INEC has said repeatedly. Yes. The chairman has said it. Spokespersons for INEC have also said it. And that, again, puts the onus on INEC to make sure that he's ready with his BVAS, with his technological measures and all of that, to make sure that people do not go on election day and they use other people's voters' cards. Because this election of 2023, as we've repeatedly said on this program, is an election like no other, where the Nigerian people must be allowed to speak and choose freely without intimidation and without any fascism from any direction, because fascists are trying to take over the space, and their methods we've seen, you know, are multiple and manifold. Now, as for NEITI, yes, it's good that NEITI is giving us this figure. NEITI started, you know, monitoring, you know, that extractive industry in terms of transparency in 2009. And look at the amount of money that has been lost to theft. This is money that could have been used for development purposes. But there are other issues there. NEITI is talking about partnership with other stakeholders, which was the point also that had been made on this program. That it's not just one unit. You know, there will be other stakeholders, security, architecture, and all of that. But our argument is that that should be sustained. The second point that has also been made is the need for the diversification of oil revenue, which is something we've always talked about. But in recent times, the CBN has been talking about, you know, non-oil revenue improvement in that regard. But it's important, you know, that those measures that we have seen working, helping to increase production, you know, by the various multinationals, you know, that is sustained. Otherwise, you know, we'll just go back, we'll take 2 steps forward and take 4 steps forward. It's called the recursive cycle at the heart of the Nigerian dilemma. We should move away from that.
All right, thank you very much. We have little time to go, but just to mention as part of our voter education that we've, the PVC, you can collect your PVC right from Monday. So please go ahead, collect it. At the end of the day, these are also ways, if you neglect to complete your cycle and your own responsibility, you're leaving gaps for others to leverage for, you know, for corruption and to steal your vote, as it were.